In today's video, we're going to analyze AVAX and see how high its price could go during the upcoming bull run and alt season in 2025. So, as you already know, in this video series we focus on technical analysis, not fundamentals, but we will talk a bit about both the chart against the dollar and the chart against Bitcoin, and see if it really has potential, if it's a good investment or not. So let's get right into it and start by analyzing it against the dollar. And what we can see with AVAX, in this case, is that it's a coin that has fallen behind. Unfortunately, if you compare it to other coins like Solana, which is at all-time highs, Link, which is more or less close to its all-time highs, Ripple, which is also there, Ether, which is as well, AVAX has lagged behind. There will be some people who say, well, if it hasn't exploded yet, it's a good time to invest in it. Well, be careful with the data we're about to see here, because look, for example, if we draw a Fibonacci retracement from the entire drop we've had in the bear market from 2021 to 2023, what we can see is that AVAX has been completely unable to break through the Fibonacci golden pocket. It formed a double top here and keeps going down. We're closer to the bottom than to the top. And that could either be a great investment opportunity or a total disaster, like Cardano or Ripple were for many years, or like other coins such as IOTA, which spent many years at the very bottom. So what we're going to try to figure out today is whether it's really going to break through this golden pocket, if it's really on its way to new all-time highs, or if, which I think is possible, in this case we won't see new all-time highs for AVAX in this cycle. So pay close attention to this video because it's going to get interesting. As I said, it's important for AVAX to break through the area between $50 and $55. Until it does, it's going to remain bearish, and that's important to keep in mind. So, is AVAX going to go up from the current price? Well, obviously yes, right? It's going to go up from the current price because there's an alt season, because we're in the final phase of a bull market and everything is going up. The thing is, we're still very far from the all-time high. Just to reach the golden pocket, we need to go up 126%. And to reach all-time highs, it would have to go up 485%. I don't think, and here's the first thing, I don't think AVAX will surpass its all-time high. It would have to go up, I repeat, almost 500%. So, for AVAX to reach its all-time high, not only does the chart against the dollar have to be bullish, but as you already know, the chart against Bitcoin does too. And it's important to keep that in mind. So let's go straight to the chart against Bitcoin and see if this chart is actually bullish or not. How does this chart look? Notice that we're on the weekly chart, okay? Notice that since the coin launched in 2020, we've seen a big drop. Then in 2021, there was a good rebound against Bitcoin. But notice that since 2021, we've been in free fall, and in fact, we're making lower and lower lows and also lower and lower highs. And they're getting even lower each time. And we're practically at the lowest levels against Bitcoin, levels we haven't seen since 2021. So what we're clearly seeing here is a coin that, with each passing year and each passing day, is losing value compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin keeps gaining value against this coin. The fact that this chart is bearish doesn't mean that AVAX is going to fall. What it does mean is that if Bitcoin goes up, AVAX will go up less. So, if we're expecting Bitcoin, for example, to go up by another 50% or so, then AVAX in this case might see even less of an increase. It won't be exactly like that, mainly because obviously, even though the trend is clearly bearish, and in the long term what this is telling you is that it's not a good investment, it's true that we could go up and test the resistance zone, which is clearly around here. We're talking about, from the current price, it could appreciate by about 100%. I mean, if Bitcoin has to go up 50%, in this case AVAX would go up twice as much. And at this point, all this would mean is hitting the resistance and then dropping. I mean, from that moment on, Bitcoin would once again be a better investment than AVAX. So yes, we could see a few weeks or even months that are somewhat bullish for AVAX, but that doesn't change the fact that in the long term, it's a coin that's not doing well. It's a coin that hasn't broken any resistance, hasn't given any kind of bottom signal, and hasn't shown any sign that it's going to appreciate against Bitcoin. It's just that, some little upticks, like there usually are within an overall bear market against Bitcoin. So we can see here that yes, it might go up a bit more in the short term, but honestly, it's not a coin whose chart looks very good. Let's put it this way, the chart doesn't look very good, so with AVAX in this case, it's very difficult or practically impossible, given how the charts look right now. Obviously, we have to get above the 200-week moving average, we have to break through the golden pocket, and then we have to head toward all-time highs. It's pretty complicated. For me, AVAX will most likely get stuck either at the golden pocket or around the $80 zone. It's not going to reach the all-time high zone. We're talking, I repeat, about a rise of between 115 and 200%, which is nothing to sneeze at, but it does mean something very important for AVAX holders who bought in December 2021, and that's that these people will still be at a loss. If my plan, right? If my analysis is correct, these people will still be at a loss. That's where AVAX holders have to decide. Will I sell at a loss, admitting I was wrong, and try to buy other coins to make up those losses? Or do I plan to hold AVAX through the whole bear market that's coming and then, in the next bull market in another 4 years, try to make some profit? Here come the decisions. Me, obviously, you already know what I think, which is that I don't get attached to any project, and obviously, if I've made a mistake with some, which, by the way, I have made mistakes with some of my purchases and I have some things in my portfolio at a loss. Don't worry. If I'm at a loss, I plan to sell without any problem. Take a look at my portfolio, for example. Most of the coins are giving me good profits, and in fact, I also have AVAX, and AVAX is one of the only ones that's at a loss along with Fed and TON. So, when the cycle ends and these coins hit their peak, I'm going to sell them, and I have no problem doing so. I'm not going to get attached to the coins or anything like that. So, if AVAX goes up to the $50, $55 range, just so you know, there's a major resistance there. If it breaks through that level, it's very important to understand that the rally will likely continue up to the $80 zone. And beyond $80, it's risky to stay in because, as I said, it will have already gone up a lot. The chart against Bitcoin will be at a major resistance, which is a trend line we've had for 4 years now. And basically at this point, AVAX doesn't seem like a good long-term option. In any case, it looks like the next rally that's coming, this alt-season surge, could be a good opportunity to get out and wait or look for new opportunities outside of this ecosystem, at least based on how things look right now. Anyway, I don't know what you all think. If you have AVAX in your portfolio or if you think it's actually going to surpass its all-time high, I'd like to hear your opinion, but please always back it up. Back it up with solid reasoning, please. Don't just say, "You must have smoked something, you have no idea." Back it up with data, with charts, and with real evidence. And I repeat, this is not a fundamental analysis, it's a technical analysis, so if you're going to come and comment about fundamentals, please refrain from doing so, because this is purely technical analysis. So that's about it, not much more to say in this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting. Let me know in the comments if you want me to analyze any other coin as well. I already have a list prepared, but I can add more coins because we're doing this every day, and I'll see you tomorrow with a new Bitcoin analysis and a new analysis of another altcoin that we think is interesting for the bull run. So that's it. See you soon. Bye-bye.